further, what other hooks can you use? You can use stories. Stories are very powerful. Stories are very powerful. For you as a speaker, now let me give you my own thoughts about stories when it comes to storytelling in public speaking. When you are using stories at the opening of your speech, please look at me, don't write again. When you're using your opening speeches, it's not good for you to do a long story in your opening. Make it short. So let me just jump and show you something here. Rules for using stories in primacy. What's primacy? Your opening. So you keep your story short. If you're going to use a story at the beginning of your speech, it should be very short, and it should lead you to the first point or to the title of your speech. The rules for using stories in primacy: let it be exciting and suspenseful. Let it be exciting and suspenseful whenever you're using a story. So there are different kinds of stories you can use. You can use what is called the legends. This day, I just saw this. I saw the story behind this. Have you seen it? It's trending everywhere. I'm like, why are they doing this thing? So I now saw the interpretation of the song of the man who sang it, and I realized that it's a story of the tortoise and the elephant. See? So a person came to class in Uyo, in Port Harcourt. So the first thing he did was he got us to play music. That so he came alone. When he got to that point, he hid himself. We're like, why are you coming like that? But we allowed him. He got all our attention. He came on the stage and said, how many of us have heard of that trending song? And you observed as I did it. Well, that trending song tells us the story of, he now told us the story of the tortoise and the elephant. Then related it to what the message of it and his points. I said, wow. In fact, he got 9 in his opening. I gave him and said, that's a good way. So that is how you open your speech. You can use legends, you can use fables and folklore, you can use anecdotes, you can use personal stories, you can use superstitions, you can use traditions. That's how to get people to come around. When you're telling a good story, please pay attention. This is quality stuff we're giving to you here. In public speaking, your story should contain this element. Just write them down. If we have time today, we'll look at them. When you're telling a story, even as a pastor, let me tell you why stories are powerful. As a speaker, you must be an amazing storyteller, because stories put audiences into trance. What did I say? Stories put audiences into trance. If you want to hypnotize people, you tell stories. When you got into that tricycle or that bike or that bus, and then the man says, my brother, you look like someone that is a responsible person. Good morning. How are you? I'm fine. Please, I'm a stranger here. I just came in from Benin Republic. My goods landed in Apapa. And I came to... Have you heard that kind of thing before? Those kind of people, by the time you know it, they'll put you in a kind of trance. That you will not know. When a person tells a story and puts you into trance, he has access to your subconscious. When you're in trance, your subconscious becomes susceptible to influence. If I want you to think about your mom right now, all I have to do is talk about my mom. Yeah. So in the midst of talking about my mom, I can inject a philosophy. I can inject an idea. I can inject a suggestion in the story. All great communicators did that. If you tell a child, do this, he will not do it. But if you want to inject family values into that child, you add the value inside the story. Doesn't make any sense. So communicators are skillful storytellers. Even your pastor is a skillful storyteller. The other day, my son came from Dubai and he was finished. Broke. He came to me. I told him, what do you have? He said, I have my last G-Wagon. Give it to me. If you're a smart person, there's an end to that story. You don't know that. There's an end to the story now. What's the end to the story? Give me something. Get ready your own G-Wagon. So we all know. So when you're a public speaker, we're not criticizing pastors here. You know these things. You know these things. He's programming you for something. He will tell you testimonies. You're not like, wow, God is powerful. Actually, God is powerful. Then in the midst of it, he would introduce a command. We call it the embedded command in persuasion. See, you guys need to, communication is deep. I have very few copies of this book. I have a part, if you ever buy this book, if you get to buy this book, if you care to buy it, it's called Speech Power. Just go and read chapter 6. You'll be like, wow, it's persuasion. How to persuade anybody. Some of these things are taught you there. Embedded command. Even Jesus used stories. Oh, you didn't know? All of it. So as a speaker, you learn how to tell stories. So you tell stories at the beginning. You also tell stories in the middle. And when you're telling the stories, in order for you to give the story power and weight, you introduce these things. The story must have character. What do I mean by character? Every Nollywood and Bollywood and Hollywood movie that was a blockbuster, that was $1 billion, they used the hero-villain dynamic. There must be a good guy and a bad guy in your story. Does it make any sense? Yes. Even if it's a short story. During the COVID-19, I came back. I did TV for 9 years. I did TV, did some kind of radio. So because I was a bit of press, I would drive and do things. I came back during the COVID-19 when we were doing the lockdown, and I wanted to hug my daughter. Oh, so Daddy, don't touch me. Daddy, don't touch me. Haven't you heard that before you can hug anybody, you must wash your hands? Blah, blah, blah. So I said, oh, okay, sorry. And I want to wash my hands. You see, children are very innocent and very powerful. So young lady, young girl, but she knew things. Don't undermine what children can know. I've just told the story now, right? Yes. Who is the hero? Who is the villain? See that now? Was there a dialogue? Yes. Daddy, don't hug me. You see that now? Was there a bit of drama? Yes. Daddy, don't hug me. Were you in some kind of suspense? Yes. What was the point? Why would she say that? Yeah. So that's how you tell stories. The good bad. There must be a good bad. If you're telling the origin, there's also something called origin story. I was down. Now, in fact, that's how testimony should be. All testimony was where you are and where you are now. It always works. See, it always works. Make sense? So use that in your story.